Most people didn't even see it. It played after the studio logos in the dark while the theater was already half empty. 6 seconds of animation, 0 dialogue. And it may be the most important scene Marvel has ever hidden in plain sight. Let's talk about it. Before we theorize, let's establish exactly what happened, because the details matter more than you think. The scene revisits the Spidey Tracker app that Ned created earlier in the film. The app suddenly detects another sighting. The map zooms out from New York to reveal the Earth, then continues past the moon into space. After briefly glitching, a second Spider-Man marker appears far beyond the planet. The film then cuts to black, with one final message: Spider-Man will return. Exactly what the tracker has found is left unanswered. The movie never confirms whether the signal belongs to Peter or another Spider-Man, or whether it's even coming from the same universe. Now here's the detail most people completely missed. The post-credits scene plays at the very end of the credits, not midway through. Most MCU stingers played before the final studio logos. This one was buried after them, the one place audiences are trained to stop watching. Marvel didn't just hide a scene, they filtered for the most obsessive fans in the room and rewarded only them. And the glitch. The app zooms out to beyond Earth and shifts past the moon, where a Spidey icon starts blinking in the middle of outer space, without a specific location getting zoomed in on, as it says, location found. The app finds something, but it can't precisely locate it. It glitches, it hesitates, and that's not a throwaway animation detail. That's the scene telling you something is fundamentally wrong with what it just found. 5 theories. Let's build each one properly. Theory 1. Peter Parker is already on Battleworld. Doomsday already happened. This is the theory with the most comic book support and the most terrifying structural implications. Spider-Man plays a major role in the original Secret Wars comics. Movies like Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness and Deadpool and Wolverine introduce reality incursions and the erasure of whole realities. During the 2015 event, the version of Battleworld Dr. Doom rules over is all that's left of both the Prime and Ultimate Marvel universes. Yet, in the 1984 Secret Wars comic story, the heroes were transported to Battleworld while the rest of reality went on unimpeded. The brand new day post-credit scene lines up perfectly with where the MCU appears to be heading, because Avengers Secret Wars is expected to adapt elements of Jonathan Hickman's 2015 Secret Wars. The comic series begins with the complete collapse of the multiverse through a series of incursions. Instead of allowing every universe to be destroyed, Dr. Doom decides to save it. With help from Doctor Strange, Doom steals the Beyonder's power and creates Battleworld, a single patchwork planet stitched together from the surviving fragments of countless realities. As the self-proclaimed God Emperor Doom, he rules over this new world until surviving heroes eventually challenge him. Here's the deeper implication that nobody is fully sitting with. Given that the Striker appears to be working in a still functioning New York City, this suggests that the MCU as fans know it is still standing, and that Spider-Man might be stranded on Battleworld in the current MCU reality. That one detail changes everything. The tracker is built on Earth 616's infrastructure. It's running. New York is intact, which means the post-credit scene isn't set after the MCU is destroyed, it's happening while the MCU is still alive. Battleworld exists alongside Earth 616, not in replacement of it. Peter didn't survive a collapse, he was taken before one. The tracker's progressive zoom out from Earth into deep space, combined with the glitches, suggests that the ending of Avengers Doomsday escalates into a full multiversal collapse. Given Spider-Man's importance and potential ties to being an anchor being of Earth 616, Peter could have been chosen as one of the selected survivors pulled off world. The absence of Tom Holland's Peter Parker in Avengers Doomsday now carries real narrative weight. It strongly suggests he is being held in reserve for a far more pivotal role, helping restore reality itself during the climactic battle against Dr. Doom in Avengers Secret Wars. The Avengers are going to fight Doom and lose. Peter won't be there to witness it. He'll arrive in Secret Wars as the only hero who wasn't broken by Doomsday, and that preserved strength is exactly what the story needs. Theory 2. It's not Peter, it's a Spider-Man from a dying universe. This theory starts with a single logical observation that most people glossed over. Because we just saw Tom Holland's Spider-Man, fans are now theorizing that the second reading belongs to another Peter Parker. The suspects currently include 2 of the past Spider-Man stars, Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield. As seen in Spider-Man No Way Home, they still exist in this universe as other variants. Think about what the scene is actually showing. Tom Holland's Peter is in New York. That signal is already registered. When the app finds a second signal, it doesn't update Peter's location, it detects something additional, something new. That's not a relocation. That's a separate entity entirely. Incursions are cosmic events where 2 universes from the multiverse cross over with one another, threatening to crash into each other and destroy all life. In Jonathan Hickman's New Avengers comic, heroes are given 2 options when faced with an incursion. They can allow both Earths to crash into each other, destroying both universes, or destroy one planet Earth and allow both universes to live.
Perhaps this post-credit scene is teasing that the MCU will not just cross over with the Fox X-Men and Fantastic Four's universes as teased in the Doomsday trailer, but will also feature another Spider-Man's world getting pulled into the mix. The only problem with this theory is that the Spidey Tracker blip appears to be pretty far out in space for it to be an incursion. Without much data on what incursions actually look like in the MCU, however, it can't be fully written off. Here's the angle nobody has properly built out. In No Way Home, Peter was the nexus point, the person whose identity, when threatened, pulled other Spider-Men across universes. Doctor Strange's spell didn't just erase memories, it permanently altered the multiversal fabric around Peter Parker. What if that alteration created a residual frequency, a signal that other Spider-Man's bodies are tuned to? The tracker didn't find a location, it found a frequency, one that belongs to a Peter Parker from a collapsing universe being pulled toward the only signal his biology recognizes, Earth 616. Theory 3. Peter is on the Fantastic Four ship, and the Thunderbolts already saw it coming. This is a theory that connects 3 separate films into one clean line, and the Elena Belova detail is the key that unlocks it. The Thunderbolts post-credit scene shows the Excelsior, the spaceship created and owned by the Fantastic Four, exiting its interdimensional space jump as they make the leap from their universe to the MCU. That scene, coupled with what happens at the end of the Fantastic Four First Steps, are the primary setups for Doomsday. If Thunderbolt's end credits scene and Brand New Day are both set in 2028, events depicted in the latter and Avengers Doomsday might take place at the same time. This would explain why Tom Holland's Spider-Man wasn't part of the initial 27-strong Doomsday Advents cast announcement. They're happening simultaneously. Brand New Day and Doomsday are parallel events, one street level, one cosmic. Peter is in New York while the Avengers and X-Men are dying in Latveria.
And the Fantastic Four ship is crossing universes at exactly the same moment. Now here's the Yelena connection that seals the entire theory. Florence Pugh's Yelena appears in Brand New Day. She's in Peter's world. She's also the same Yelena whose iPad in Thunderbolts detected an unidentified extra-dimensional spacecraft entering Earth orbit. She saw the Fantastic Four coming. She's connected to both films, which means the moment Peter's story ends in Brand New Day and the tracker finds him in space, he could already be aboard the very ship Yelena's app had been tracking. Spider-Man didn't go to space. The Fantastic Four came to him. Theory 4, the symbiote is already waiting, and Marvel has been building to this since 2021. This is the one that comic readers have been screaming about since the post-credit scene dropped, and for good reason. Spider-Man No Way Home already established that a fragment of the symbiote exists somewhere on Earth 616, after Eddie Brock was sent back to his own universe, leaving behind a small piece of Venom. That scene felt too specific to ignore, and Brand New Day may have provided the next piece of the puzzle. In Marvel's original 1984 Secret Wars, Peter, while exploring Battleworld, unknowingly bonds with an alien symbiote. While it initially appears to be nothing more than a sleek black suit, Peter eventually discovers it's a living organism.
If Spider-Man is really heading toward Battleworld, Marvel has a perfect opportunity to adapt one of the character's most famous comic book storylines. In the 8th issue of Secret Wars, Peter comes in contact with an inky black parasite called the symbiote. Yes, that symbiote, the Venom symbiote. Secret Wars marked the comic book debut of the symbiote, with Peter first contracting it before his work rival Eddie Brock would come into contact and become Venom in Amazing Spider-Man number 300. Now, consider the MCU's advantage here. With the Venom symbiote's origin tied up in a major Marvel crossover, most adaptations have had to skirt around it. Both Spider-Man 3 and the Venom films kept the alien origin, but simplified it. The Amazing Spider-Man franchise's plans for Venom appear to be drawn from Ultimate Comics. However, the MCU is in the unique position to finally deliver a comic-accurate depiction of Venom's origin story. Brand New Day does something almost as important. It puts Spider-Man on the exact kind of cosmic path where Marvel could naturally adapt that story without forcing it. Spider-Man is leaving Earth. The symbiote is already waiting somewhere in the MCU. Secret Wars is looming. But here's what makes this theory more sophisticated than just Peter gets the black suit. Brand New Day spent its entire runtime showing Peter's body changing, organic webbing, black eyes, mutations driven by isolation. His biology is already shifting. His DNA is already in flux. When he reaches Battleworld and encounters a symbiote, it won't be bonding with a normal human.
Venom: The Last Dance has already introduced Clintar, the artificial planet tied to the symbiotes and their creator Null. In the comics, Clintar functions as both a prison for Null and a hub for the symbiote hive. A symbiote that finds a host whose biology is already partially arachnid, already mutating towards something non-human, already primed, that symbiote doesn't just bond, it merges. The mutation storyline in Brand New Day isn't set up for Spider-Man 5. It's set up for a symbiosis that the comics never achieved because Peter Parker was always fully human when it happened. Tom Holland's Peter won't be. Theory 5. The glitch isn't a bug, it's the most important frame in the scene. Every theory so far has focused on where Spider-Man is. This one focuses on something nobody is talking about, the glitch itself. The app suddenly detects another sighting. The map zooms out from New York, then continues past the moon into space. After briefly glitching, a second Spider-Man marker appears far beyond the planet. That glitch is the scene's most loaded detail, and it has been almost universally treated as a stylistic choice, a fun animation quirk to make the scene feel playful. It isn't. Think about what Net's app is designed to do. It reads Spider-Man's biological signature, his specific arachnid frequency. The same body that generates organic webbing, produces spider sense, operates on a biometric level completely unique in the MCU.
The app has been tracking that signature successfully throughout the entire movie, real time with perfect accuracy, in New York, on Earth, in normal space-time. Then it reaches a space signal, and it glitches. The app doesn't glitch because a signal is far away. Digital distance isn't a problem for an app that presumably uses satellite infrastructure. The app glitches because the signal it's detecting is structurally wrong. The signature it found matches Spider-Man's frequency, but something about it isn't reading correctly, like a word processor encountering a file format it wasn't built to open. Two explanations. First, the signal belongs to a Spider-Man from a different universe whose biology resonates on a close but not identical frequency. The app reads Spider-Man, but the mathematics underneath are slightly off. Second, and more disturbing, the signal belongs to Peter, but Peter is no longer in a location that the app's coordinate system can process. Not just far away, outside the addressable space of the app's mapping system. The app found something real. It just doesn't have a category for where that real thing is. Eventually, the app zooms out far enough that it not only shows the entire Earth, but the character can't be found until the app moves away from our world, lays down a new pin indicating Spider-Man is somewhere in space, and ends with a voice message saying, "Location found." Location found. Not location confirmed, not signal identified, found. As in, we found something. We're calling it a location because we don't have another word for it. That phrasing is deliberate. Marvel's sound team doesn't write post-credit dialogue by accident. The app found Spider-Man somewhere it was never designed to look, and all it can report is that it found him. The rest is beyond its architecture. Here's the moment that validates every theory on this list simultaneously. Director Destin Daniel Cretton said, "I have seen the theories and I love the theories. I think they're so cool and I don't want to stop that conversation by putting my opinion in the middle of it. Knowing there will be another movie, that conversation will continue in the writer's room as we figure out, if we figure out, what we're going to do next."
Read that carefully. If we figure out. It is very obvious now that Spider-Man is the biggest hero in the MCU, and it seems very unlikely that we would get through 2 full Avengers movies without him appearing in either of them. As for the space connection, much of Secret Wars takes place on Battleworld, stitched together worlds that would occupy some point in space, likely a catalyst to collapsing the multiverse into one place in the MCU. The post-credit scene was not built around a locked answer, it was built around a locked question. Marvel knew where Peter's story was emotionally, isolated, evolving, finally reconnecting with the people he lost. What they left deliberately open was what that reconnection cost him next. The scene is a bridge, not a destination. And the destination is being decided in a writer's room right now, informed in part by which theories the internet can't stop talking about. 6 seconds of animation, a tracker app, a glitch, 3 words, Spider-Man will return. No movie title, no date, no confirmation of which Spider-Man, which universe, or which version of Peter Parker comes out the other side of whatever that space signal means. Marvel has never ended a Spider-Man movie on a question this open. Every previous film gave you a next step, a villain teased, a relationship established, a direction implied. Brand New Day gives you a void and says, fill it yourself. 5 theories, 1 scene, 0 answers. The only thing every theory agrees on, whatever is in that space, it's not where Peter's story ends. Subscribe, because when Doomsday drops in December, either everything we just covered will click into place, or Marvel will have done something none of us saw coming. Either way, I'll be here.